Hello, everyone. Welcome to our class today where you are going to start your day in English. You're going to learn beginner-friendly sentences, but these sentences sound advanced. So if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced student, this is the class for you. So, of course, let's talk about waking up. What time did you wake up this morning? You can share that in the comments, or what time do you wake up routinely? Share that as well. So, here's something you can say. Most mornings, I have to drag myself out of bed when the alarm goes off. Does this describe you? Well, you need to understand what it means to know whether or not it describes you. So, most mornings, this is an adverb of frequency. It's like saying usually. Usually would be a replacement. Usually. Now, because that's an adverb of frequency, we want the present simple. I have to drag myself out of bed. So, what do you think that means? To drag yourself out of bed when the alarm goes off. So, this sounds like you have to force yourself to get out of bed. It's not easy. So, when the alarm goes off, you're not, yay, I get to wake up. You're like, oh, I have to drag myself. It requires effort and it's not something you want to do. And notice you drag oneself. I have to drag myself out of bed. Maybe you would say, I have to drag my kids out of bed, for example, out of bed when the alarm goes off. So this is also in the present simple, when the alarm goes off, because it's a routine action. Okay, I'll say it once all together and then you can shadow my pronunciation. Most mornings, I have to drag myself out of bed when the alarm goes off. So when you say I have to drag myself, maybe you'll add a little bit of annoyance or frustration in that. And good morning to you, Pink Flower. And yes, Natalia, to make an effort. Exactly. Okay. How about this? I usually take a few deep breaths while I'm still in bed. So notice I usually, subject, adverb of frequency, verb. And your verb is in the present simple. So imagine it were she. She usually takes. You need to add that S. And thank you so much, Jorge. I appreciate that generosity. I'm going to get myself a coffee after this. Thank you. I usually take a few. A few represents a small number of 3, 4, 5, a small number of deep breaths. Notice the pronunciation. Breaths, breaths, breaths. So a deep breath is when you inhale for a long time and then you exhale for a long time while I'm still in bed. Okay. So, is that something you do as part of your routine? I have to be honest, it's not something I do, but I think it's probably a good thing to do, a relaxing way. How about this one? After the alarm goes off. After the alarm goes off. So notice again, the alarm, it's it. So that's why you have goes in the present simple. After the alarm goes off, I immediately open the curtains to let some light in. So open the curtains, open the curtains. Open the curtains. Notice my pronunciation here. I'm going to use that glottal stop and not pronounce the T. That isn't a requirement for you, but that's how Americans pronounce this. Curtains, curtains. I immediately open the curtains to let some light in. So to let, our infinitive, to let some light in, to let some light in. Natalia said, people usually yawn while they're still in bed. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yawn is a good word to know for your morning. Absolutely. Exactly. That's what it sounds like. Curtains, curtains. Again, you don't have to pronounce it like that, but Americans, we naturally pronounce it like that without thinking. I don't think about it. It's just what comes out. It doesn't sound natural for me to say curtains. I have to stress that. I have to think about it. What comes out naturally is curtains, curtains. Okay. Let's keep going. I hit snooze again today. I just couldn't resist my warm bed. Ooh. So this is a beginner sentence in the sense that it's very short sentences. There's only 5 words in this sentence, but it sounds quite advanced because you're using natural vocabulary. So I hit snooze again today. Now, this isn't a routine action. This is a past simple action, but the verb hit is irregular. So the 3 conjugations are hit, hit, hit. So in the past simple, it's still hit. Yesterday, I hit snooze. So to hit snooze just means you press the snooze button, and we use hit instead to mean you press it quickly or with enthusiasm. I hit snooze again today. I just couldn't resist my warm bed. Ooh, does that describe you? I just couldn't resist. Now, if you couldn't is our modal verb in the negative. So that's why we have the base verb of resist. Resist is a verb. My warm bed. Now, if you can't resist something, it means that you you didn't want to, or you know it's bad for you, but you do it anyway. So you might say, I couldn't resist eating another piece of chocolate cake. You know you shouldn't. You know it's bad for you, but you do it anyway. So I know I should get out of bed, but I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist my warm bed. Now, if you use a verb, it would be the gerund. I couldn't resist staying in my warm bed. Okay. A snooze is when your alarm goes off and you press a button to give yourself 10 more minutes or 15 more minutes, and then the alarm will go off again in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I think it defaults to 10 minutes. This describes me. I'm sure it describes a lot of people. Oh, and I'm so glad it's the first time you're here watching the live with me. Let's keep going, everyone. And before we do, are you enjoying this lesson? Are you enjoying this natural vocabulary? Put yes, 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 yes in the comments, and like this lesson as well. And make sure you subscribe so you're notified every time I go live. And also, this is the first time that my software allows me to stream both on mobile and on desktop at the same time. So if you're watching on mobile, let me know, what is it like for you? Is it okay? Because the presentation was designed for desktop, but it's also streaming on mobile. So let me know, is it okay, the formatting? Are you watching on mobile? Are you watching on desktop? Let me know. And thank you so much, Ariel. I will buy my husband a coffee as well. Thank you so much. You're on mobile. I know that the presentation is quite small on mobile, but unfortunately, it's is one presentation for both desktop and mobile. So let me know if it's difficult to watch or what you think. Okay. Yeah, it looks a little narrow. Exactly. Okay, let's keep going, everyone. And also, I have this free speaking guide for you. You can get this from my website. Now, every day I get messages from students, Jennifer, what should I do to improve my English? Well, I put my best tips and advice in this guide. So follow the steps. I tell you exactly what to do to get started. I give you the plan. So you can get this for free on my website. You just download it as a PDF. And then if you want, you can print it like I did, or you can just keep it on your computer. Okay, and all is well. Thank you for letting me know. Wow, it works perfectly. iPhone. Wow. Okay, thank you. The quality is wonderful. Okay, good. I'm glad. I thought the text is very small on mobile, isn't it? Are you able to read the text okay? It's okay. Okay, thanks for letting me know, everyone. Let's keep going. And if you want to go more in depth with your English, if you want to keep learning natural phrases, if you want to study native speakers, if you want to get feedback and support directly from me, well, then you can get that in the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my training program. So you can look in the description or just go to my website and you can find out all the details. Okay. Video is okay. Awesome. You can read it clearly. Wow, I'm happy. Yeah, Natalia, the slides, they don't fit. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Okay. I'll see if I can adjust it for next time. But like I said, is one presentation for both desktop and mobile. So it's a little difficult. Okay, everyone, let's keep going. Now, getting ready. So this is a general term. If I say to my husband, "Oh, I'm going to get ready now," it means many things. I'm going to have a shower, do my makeup, brush my teeth, dry my hair, style my hair, get dressed. For a guy, maybe you would shave as well. So all of those activities are under this one term, get ready. So the verb is get, and then you have to conjugate that based on the subject and the time reference. So I might say, oh, it takes me about 45 minutes to get ready in the morning. Okay. So maybe you can say, in the context of getting ready, I always hop in the shower right after I get up. So again, this is a very beginner sentence. It's short, but it uses advanced vocabulary because we have this phrasal verb hop in, hop in. Hop in is just an alternative to get in. And perhaps it sounds like you're doing it quickly, but I think native speakers just use it regardless. So we use this. You can use this for the shower. We also use this for cars. So if someone is giving you a ride, instead of saying get in, they might say hop in. So it's just an alternative that you may hear natives use, but you can absolutely say, instead of get in the shower, I would say I always take a shower or have a shower. So hop in just is talking about how you leave your bed and you enter the shower. So that's what it's focusing on. Where you go after you leave your bed. Because after I get up, well, this represents leaving your bed because that's what you wake up. Oh, but many people, after the alarm goes off, they stay in bed, right? So get up is when you leave your bed. So I always hop in the shower right after I get up. So I always, present simple, I always hop in the shower. She always hops in the shower. If you use she, he, you have to add that S. Right after I get up. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's keep going. How about this? I always listen to an interesting podcast as I'm getting ready. This is true because I feel like 45 minutes of drying my hair and putting on makeup is a waste of time. So I try to do something productive during that time. What about you? I always listen to an interesting podcast as, and now the present continuous because is talking about the continuation of the action as I'm getting ready, as I'm getting ready. Okay. So I always, that's our adverb of frequency. She always listens. We always listen. So, what's something you do as you're getting ready? And you don't have to use always. You could use I sometimes, I usually, I never. You could talk about things you never do as well, for example. I always listen to your videos as I'm working and driving. Okay. Don't tell your boss. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, just put your first part in the present simple because always is a keyword for the present simple because it's a routine action. I always listen to podcasts as I'm getting ready. Your last part can be in the present continuous. Awesome. So share something that you always do as you're getting ready. How about this? The weather, the weather is unpredictable this time of year. So I always check the forecast before deciding what to wear. So here is a great strategy. You can have a simple sentence like, I always check the forecast before deciding what to wear. But then you can provide the reason why either before or after. And that will make you sound more advanced. So, why do I do this? Because the weather is unpredictable this time of year. Yesterday it was freezing cold, but today it's quite warm. Yesterday it was snowing, today it's raining. So it's unpredictable, for example. So again, I always check. Check means you verify or confirm the forecast. That's an alternative to, you could also say the weather. I check the weather. I check the forecast. I check the weather forecast. Native speakers use all three. Before is a preposition. So that's why you need deciding. Forecast is tells you what it's going to be today. What's the temperature? Is it going to be sunny, cloudy, rainy, snowing? That's the forecast. So you can also just say weather. I check the weather. I check the weather forecast, or I check the forecast. Okay. Before deciding, our verb in ing, what to wear. So that's something you can definitely do. And maybe it's before something else instead of deciding what to wear. How about this? I pick my clothes out the night before to save time in the morning. So again, you could have a simple sentence. I pick my clothes out the night before. Period. That's a complete sentence. But then you could provide the reason why. Why do you do this? To save time. So that's your purpose clause, to save time in the morning. To save time in the morning. Now, you can put this to save time in the morning. You can put this at the beginning as well and say, to save time in the morning, I pick my clothes out the night before. So the night before. And I pick my clothes out. To pick out just means to select. So I look at my closet and I have all these clothes. And then I select this red shirt. That would be I pick out. I pick my clothes out. Okay. And then pick out is a separable phrasal verb. So you can say I pick out my clothes or I pick my clothes out. Both of them are fine. Natalia said, I try to focus on my upcoming errands during the day as I'm getting ready. Yeah, exactly. Very nice. Yeah, choose or select could be alternatives for sure. So again, we're in the present simple because we're talking about routine actions. I pick my clothes out the night before to save time in the morning. So even if you don't have an adverb of frequency, because we're talking about daily routines, it's assumed that this is a routine action. How about this? It usually takes me about 45 minutes to get ready. And remember, to get ready means everything you need to do to leave your house. So, shower, do your hair and makeup, get dressed, brush your teeth. people. Eat breakfast, brush your teeth, all of that. So, what about you? How long does it take you? And here, it usually, so this means maybe sometimes it takes me longer, maybe sometimes it takes me less time because usually is not the same as always. It usually, now notice here, takes me because it is the subject. So you need to add the S onto your verb take. It usually takes me about 45 minutes. About means approximately. You could say around, about around 45 minutes to get ready, to get ready, to get ready. So jam takes about 20 minutes. Lucky you. Asm, it usually takes me around 30 minutes to get ready. Lucky you. It usually takes me about 1 hour to get ready. Exactly. All right. I always make my lunch at night to save time. Exactly. Exactly. Very nice example. And good job getting your present simple as well. About 30 minutes. Okay. 30 minutes seems to be the most popular time. All right, let's move on to breakfast. So I don't know what time it is for you, but here it is 8:24 a.m. So I had breakfast about an hour ago and I had oatmeal. What about you? What did you have for breakfast today? Okay, so let's talk about breakfast. I'm lucky that my husband makes breakfast and coffee every morning while I shower. And this is true. And I'm lucky because it saves me time. I don't have to do this. 9:25 a.m. I guess so. So you recently had breakfast. You're thinking about dinner. Okay. So I'm lucky that, and then you want a full clause. So you can add I'm lucky before a full clause. That is optional. You could say I'm lucky my husband makes breakfast and coffee every morning while I shower. So I'm lucky that you could remove those three words from the sentence and the sentence would be grammatically correct. So you can add I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. That would be another way of saying that before an entire clause to express your meaning or your feeling towards it. So, this is another way you can take a simple sentence, a beginner sentence, like just a present simple daily routine sentence, and make it sound more advanced. I'm lucky that. I'm fortunate that. So, how about you? What's something that you would say, I'm lucky that, and then you need an entire clause? A clause is a complete sentence, subject, verb, object. Okay, Jam had noodles and it's 10:25 p.m. All right, very different time zone. 11:25 a.m., 9:25. Awesome. 7:55. Okay, awesome. I make breakfast for my family. Excellent. Very nice. I make breakfast for my family. Awesome. Let's keep going. We love having a slow breakfast in our beautiful sunroom while watching the sunrise. Okay, so this is an easy way to make beginner sentences more advanced. Adjectives. Notice I said slow, beautiful. So adding those two words makes it sound more advanced than simply saying we love having breakfast in our sunroom. So a slow breakfast, slow in this case represents leisurely. You get leisurely sounds more advanced. You could use that leisurely. You take your time. You're not in a hurry. You enjoy it. We love having a slow breakfast in our beautiful sunroom. Now, here's another way to make a beginner sentence sound more advanced. While doing something, while watching the sunrise, while catching up, while talking about our day, while planning our evening, whatever it might be. So that's a great way to sound more advanced. Okay, in English, we don't use the verb take breakfast. I know that is a false friend in Spanish and French, probably other languages as well. But the verb we use with meals is have breakfast. We use take to represent movement. So I might say, I take breakfast with me to work. So I don't have time to eat in the morning at home. So I take it with me to work. So it means I have my container and I transport it. So that's the verb take. We don't use it to mean consume. We use have. I make breakfast for my husband. He works at night. He is sleeping now. Yeah, very nice. That sounds more advanced as well, just providing more details. I'm lucky that my sister makes me breakfast. Oh, definitely you're lucky, which is tea and a grilled cheese while I'm taking a shower. That sounds very advanced. You provided what the breakfast is and then the activity that you do. Really nicely done. Well done. That sounds very advanced. Exactly. I take my lunchbox with me to work. Exactly. So that's how you would use the verb take. All right. I'm lucky to have a mom who makes breakfast while I'm sleeping. That is so sweet. And absolutely. Please tell your mom that you feel lucky to have her. Could I use breakfast like a verb? So we breakfast in our sunroom. No, we don't say that. So we eat breakfast or we have breakfast. Have is the most common. You can use eat, but have is just what native speakers most likely will use. Yeah, it's interesting. There are many nouns that we use as verbs, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner aren't common ones. Good question. Let's keep going. How about this? I prefer having a light breakfast, but I never skip it. Okay, so if someone asks you whether it's on a language exam or just a casual conversation, oh, what do you usually have for breakfast? Or what did you have for breakfast? You could say something like, I prefer having a light breakfast, a light breakfast. So to me, when I hear light breakfast, I think of a piece of fruit, some yogurt. That's about that's what I instantly think of as a light breakfast. So the opposite of light breakfast is heavy, heavy. So to me, a heavy breakfast would be eggs, toast, bacon, that potatoes, that would be a heavy breakfast. Yeah, Asm, you can absolutely use big and small. Uh, Light and heavy are probably more advanced and more natural alternatives, but absolutely you can say, "Oh, I had a big breakfast, so now I'm not feeling very good." So you absolutely can use those for sure. I prefer, and then your verb in ing. I prefer having a light breakfast, but I never skip it. So what does that mean? I never skip it. I never skip it. If you skip breakfast, it means you don't have it. If you skip the gym, I'm a little tired. I'm going to skip the gym today. You don't go to gym. I'm going to skip my English class. You don't go to English class. But you have that appointment. So you should go, but you don't. Okay? So that would be what skip is. Yeah, I never miss it. Exactly. Skip means miss in this context. So you can use it with meals. I'm feeling a little tired because I skipped breakfast or skipped lunch, skipped dinner, whatever it might be. Good job, everyone. I prefer having a heavy breakfast and skip lunch. All right. Exactly. Everyone has their different preferences for sure. I eat, where is this? I eat a heavy breakfast once a week at the restaurant. Exactly. That's a great time to have a heavy breakfast. Usually on Sundays, I have a heavy breakfast as well, pancakes and fruit. All right. I never skip breakfast, but I skip dinner sometimes. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. And yes, skip means you miss it. I never skip your live stream. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. How about this one? I'm always on cleanup duty after breakfast, which is only fair since my husband makes it. Okay, this is true. I'm always on cleanup duty. So to be, our verb to be, I am, always is our adverb of frequency to mean it happens a lot. I'm always on duty, but what type of duty? Clean up. This is a more advanced way of saying I always clean up after breakfast. So you can absolutely say that. So this is just a advanced native speaker way of saying I always clean up. So clean is your verb, up is your preposition. So it's a phrasal verb, clean up. I always clean up after breakfast. I'm always on cleanup duty after breakfast. So if someone is on cleanup duty, it means that it is their responsibility to clean up. So parents probably discuss this. Okay, I'll help the kids with homework. So you're on cleanup duty because I'm doing something else, for example. So native speakers commonly use this cleanup duty, cleanup duty. So as a verb, it would be clean up, 2 words. So the verb is clean and the preposition is up. But here it functions as an adjective and it's 1 word. Okay. Now, as the verb, it has to be 2 words because you have to conjugate it. You would say, I cleaned up last night. So you have to put the ed on it, or I'm cleaning up right now. But adjectives don't change. It's the verb. So here it would be I was on cleanup duty last night, for example. So it's your verb to be that would change. All right. Yeah, exactly. So the students are on cleanup duty. Don't forget that preposition on cleanup duty after their lesson is dismissed. Yeah, exactly. Very nice. That's a great use of that. Which is only fair. So here, which is only fair since my husband makes it. It represents breakfast. So it's saying, yes, I have to clean up, but he made breakfast. I clean up. So it's fair. It's even. The amount of work is divided evenly. This is tea. Actually, it's honey water because I have a very sore throat right now. So, yes, this is hot water with some honey because I'm a little bit sick right now and my throat is very sore, but I'm doing my best. Okay. Now, let's talk about getting the kids ready. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Because, of course, if you're a parent, then a large part of your daily routine is going to be your kids, right? So if you're a parent, share something that you do as part of your daily routine to get your kids ready. So maybe you would say, every morning, I have to convince my daughter to eat her breakfast before school. Oh, so that could be in this picture right now. Kids, they never want to eat when they're supposed to. So every morning, this is our adverb of frequency. Notice when you have every, you can say every morning, every afternoon, every evening, every Monday, every Friday, every Saturday, whatever it is. But you put that at the very beginning or you put it at the very end. But for the others, it's subject, adverb, verb. Okay, so every morning I have to convince my daughter. So that's more of an advanced verb. I have to convince my daughter to eat her breakfast before school. So if you convince her, maybe you say something like, I made your favorite. Oh, you'll really like it. Oh, let me cut it in half for you, or you'll feel better once you eat. So if you convince her, you provide reasons why she should do something. So that would be the verb convince. I have to convince my daughter because she says, no, no, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat. No, no. To eat her breakfast before school. Okay, so if you use going to school, absolutely you can, but you have to use the verb in ing because before is a preposition. So you can absolutely say before going to school, yes, but with routine places, school, work, and home, we don't use articles in front of them. So here you could just say before school. So you can replace that also with before work, before class. You could use class as well. So only in certain cases can you use just the word. It wouldn't be that common. Like for example, you can't say before restaurant. That doesn't make sense. You would have to say before going to the restaurant. But with school, work, class, church, you could just use those in the way I did. No verb, no article. Yeah, you can use persuade. I have to persuade her. I have to persuade my daughter to eat her breakfast. Yeah, you can absolutely use persuade. I have to struggle every morning to feed. You just need two to feed my daughter. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, how about this? The hardest part of my day is getting the kids ready before the bus comes. Ooh, think of everything you need to do. You have to get them out of bed, brush their hair, brush their teeth, feed them, clothe them, give them their lunch, get them out of the house. It's a lot. It's a lot. The hardest part of my day, so notice the hardest are superlative. The hardest part of my day is, and then your verb in ing. Okay. Your verb in ing. So everyone, why don't you put that? The hardest part of my day is, what would you say? What would you say to complete that sentence? Ooh. And then notice I also added before the bus comes just to give more information. I have to convince my son to have a glass of juice before he goes to play football. Exactly. Nice sentence. Nice. Very nice. I have to do something. So just like you would say, I have to do my homework. I have to clean the kitchen. I have to make breakfast. So you want the infinitive. I have to convince. I have to convince. I have to make a lot of effort to feed my daughter. The hardest part of my day is getting out of bed. Okay. Yes, kids must eat their breakfast before going to the school. Exactly. Exactly. The kids often miss the bus, so I end up taking them to school most days. Okay. So notice I said the kids. You could say my kids or the kids because the means specific kids. So it basically means the same thing if the context is obvious that it's your kids. If I just walk up to a stranger and I say the kids, he might be like, which kids? He might not know. So if it's not obvious, you can say my kids. But if it is obvious, then you can say my kids or the kids. The kids often miss the bus. So the bus goes by and they're not on it. Often miss the bus. So often means it happens 3 times, 4 times a week. So I end up. End up is our phrasal verb. It's talking about the result of something. Okay? And then you need your verb in ing because up is a preposition. So I end up taking them to school most days. So if I take them to school, it's like saying I drive them to school. I drive them to school. Yeah, you could, excuse me, you could use children for sure. The children often miss the bus. Yeah, I think native speakers probably more commonly refer to their children just as my kids, but you can say my children, but it's just probably 80% of the time you would say kids. So end up is talking about the final result of something. I end up taking them to school. So I do this as a final result. Well, the final result is because they missed the bus. You can just use school. So for routine places, school, work, home, church, you don't need an article to school. Okay. So in this context, it's a routine place. It's the school my kids go to. So it's a routine place. You would use the school if you're talking about a non routine location. So you might say, today I'm giving a presentation at the school. This is just a school. It's not a routine school that my kids go to. It's just a school because I work in education, for example. My children often miss the school bus, so I have to pick them up. Exactly, exactly. Nicely done. End up and ended up. Well, ended up is the past simple. So just grammatically, end up is the base verb or the present simple, and ended up is the past simple. So it just depends on your sentence structure, which one you need. End up is a phrasal verb. The verb is end, which you conjugate, and up is the preposition. And up, because it's a preposition, you need either the gerund or a noun after. Okay, every morning without fail, I have to remind them to brush their teeth. Remember, we're still talking about getting the kids ready. So again, this is a very beginner sentence. You're talking about your daily routine, but adding just these 2 words, without fail, sounds more advanced. So you could say every morning I have to remind them being my kids. I have to remind my kids or the kids. I have to remind my kids. I have to remind them to do something, to brush their teeth. Teeth is an irregular plural, right? That's why you don't have an S. 1 tooth, 2 teeth. So that's why there's no S there. Their the possessive pronoun, because them there. So I have to remind them. How do you remind someone? You say, make sure you brush your teeth. Don't forget to brush your teeth. Did you brush your teeth? That's how you remind someone. And every morning without fail. Okay, this just emphasizes it. It makes it sound that 100% this happens every morning. This isn't just um something I'm saying. So it just emphasizes every morning. So you might say, every morning without fail, my neighbor plays his music really loudly. You could talk about something annoying taking place. Or you can use it with something positive. Every morning without fail, my husband makes me coffee. So that's something positive. And it means, without fail. So it means there are no times it doesn't happen. Yeah, it's like saying every single morning. So really, it just emphasizes it, because every morning already means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? But adding that just emphasizes it. Every morning, without fail, I have to help my little son to brush his teeth. Yes, exactly. Remember to brush your teeth. Don't forget to brush your teeth. Exactly. I would say without fail just is emphasizes every morning. Yeah, it's like saying each and every morning, every single morning. So single isn't required. It's also there just to emphasize it. Okay. Not without failing. Without fail, not the ing form. Without fail, without fail. Okay. Getting the kids dressed is a big ordeal in my household. Ah, I like this. Okay. So the sentence starts with the gerund verb. This is definitely one thing. If you're more of a beginner student, get comfortable with gerund verbs. You need to be comfortable starting your sentence with a gerund verb. Okay. It's instantly going to make you sound more advanced. Getting the kids dressed. So, getting someone dressed, it means I'm putting the clothes on my child. Okay. Now, for yourself, I wouldn't say getting myself dressed. I would just say getting dressed. So, with yourself, you don't need to add myself. You don't need the possessive pronoun, but you can get someone else dressed. Of course, you can get your kids dressed. If you work in a care home with the elderly, I'm sure part of your job is helping the senior citizens get dressed, right? Okay, so getting the kids dressed is a big ordeal in my household. So in my household is just an alternative to house. But household, it's inclusive of all types of dwellings. So apartment, condo, it doesn't matter what you have. You can use household in my household. A big ordeal means that it's something that requires a lot of effort, and there are many steps. It's a big process. So think of it as many many steps, many instructions, and there's a lot of difficulty. That's how I would define it in this context. So why don't you try this sentence structure? Start with the gerund verb, and then you can use is a big ordeal, assuming it's a singular concept. So you might say, making everyone breakfast is a big ordeal in my household. So it's difficult. There's a lot of steps. It's more difficult than you think it would be because maybe one of your daughters has an allergy, and you can't she has a very specific diet. Your son is now a vegetarian, so you have to make a separate meal for him. And you have to make all these different things, and everyone's complaining. And so that would be an ordeal, an ordeal. Okay. Getting my boss convinced to allow me holidays is a big ordeal. Yeah, I like this. Good use. So instead of getting my boss, so you don't have to use getting someone. That's just because this sentence structure required it. So you just take your verb. So in this case, your verb is convince. So you would say convincing my boss, because you convince someone to do something. Convincing my boss to give me holidays is a big ordeal in my office, is a big ordeal. Yeah, exactly. It seems like something simple, but it's a lot of effort, a lot of difficulty. There's a lot of steps. I have to submit a lot of paperwork for no reason at all. And it has to get approved by 5 different people. It takes a lot of time. Exactly. Great example. All right, commuting. So, of course, commuting involves transportation. It can be any form of transportation. So, whether you take the train, the bus, you drive, you walk, you ride your bike, all of that involves commuting. Traffic is always bumper to bumper. So, I take the train to work. Okay, so instead of simply saying I take the train to work on an IELTS exam, or just if you're talking to anyone, I take the train to work, you can provide the reason why. Traffic is always bumper to bumper. So it means this is the end of one car and the start of another car. And so it just means that there is so much traffic, the cars aren't even moving. It's car, 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 car. That's bumper to bumper. So instead of saying traffic is heavy, traffic is really bad, you can say traffic is always bumper to bumper. Notice that pronunciation of to is very fast. To, bumper to, bumper to bumper, bumper to, bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. You have to say bumper to bumper the way I pronounce it. You can't just say traffic is always bumper or traffic is always bumper bumper. You can't say that. Traffic is always bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. So I take the train to work. You can say, here's your gerund sentence. So starting your verb in ing, taking the highway in the morning is out of the question. So if something is out of the question, it means you will not consider it. So maybe you tell your friend or someone going to the party is out of the question. So you're not going to consider it. Is out of the question because of all the construction. So this is the reason why, because of all the construction. So taking the highway in the morning is out of the question. You can't consider it, even though the highway will get you to work, but it will be very slow and it will be very frustrating. Traffic is bumper to bumper. So because of that, you won't take it, right? So taking the highway in the morning is out of the question because of all the traffic or all of the construction. You could say because of all of the traffic as well. Or you could say because traffic is bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. You could say that as well. I often take the train to work because the traffic is always bumper to bumper. Exactly. All right. How about this? I'm fortunate that I can walk to work in under 30 minutes. Remember previously I said I'm lucky, and then I said an alternative is I'm fortunate. So here you're saying fortunate, fortunate, it. Notice that pronunciation. It looks like eight, but it's pronounced as it. Fortunate, fortunate. And you need your verb to be. I'm fortunate that I can walk to work in under 30 minutes. So that means less than. Maybe it's 28 minutes, maybe it's 25 minutes, 23 minutes. So it sounds like it's a short amount of time. All right. Construction is people working on the roads. So they're fixing it, they're doing something new. There's a lot of workers, a lot of tools, a lot of machinery. That's construction. Construction. I just started biking to work. So instead of saying I bike to work, you can talk about, is it a new activity in your routine? Is it something you've been doing for a long time? I just started, and then your ing. I just started biking to work. So far, so good, but we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. This is another way of saying until now there hasn't been any problems. There hasn't been any issues. So far, so good, but we'll see how it goes. Because who wants to bike when it's raining or when it's really cold, really windy, when you have to carry a lot of things with you, right? So there are, of course, certain times when biking might not be appropriate. So that's, we'll see how it goes. It's keeping it open ended, saying that maybe I won't keep doing this in the future. All right, everyone, we will have to save this category for another time because we are all done our class for today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you really enjoyed this class. I think you should watch this again because you learned a lot of new expressions and you need to practice them to make sure you feel confident using them. And remember, you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can just go to my website, jforrestenglish.com, or the link will be in the description as well. Just enter your name and email, and then this will be emailed right to you. Make sure you check your junk or spam folder because most likely it will go there. And then you can just save it to your computer as a PDF, or you can print it like I did. And if you want more support, if you want me to review your sentences, make sure you're using them correctly, learn more natural sentences, confirm your pronunciation is correct, you can get that in the Finally Fluent Academy. This is where I work directly with students. So you can go to my website to learn more as well. And did you like this lesson? If you did, put yes, yes, yes. I want to make sure you enjoyed this lesson. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. How did the mobile experience go? I know a lot of students already said that it was good. Honestly, I'm a little surprised. But I'm a happy surprise because I thought the text would be very small on mobile. So I'm glad it went well. One student said some of the text was cut off. So I'll see if I can adjust that for next time. And let me know how your mobile experience was. And are you going to watch on mobile in the future as well? Was it a better experience for you? Let me know that as well. And of course, make sure you like this lesson and subscribe so you're notified the next time I go live. You're very welcome, Jolanta. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, Jorge. I appreciate that. Woohoo. Yes, exactly. You're very welcome. All right. Awesome, everyone. Woohoo. I'm so glad. I am so glad. All right, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see all of you very soon. Bye.